Good morning, everyone. So we are doing our second video on the importance of a morning routine and some of the key elements to include. So if you missed the first one, you can go back and watch that. But just as a quick refresher, we spoke about the importance of having a consistent wake-up time every day, including the weekends. And our second point was developing an introspective practice of some kind to calm the body and the brain and to put you in the best state for good problem solving and thinking throughout your day. And number three was planning your day and having a look to see what are the tasks that you have to prioritize and how to invest your time and resources appropriately to achieve the things that you want to do. So moving on to number four, while your brain and your body is at its calmest, you might want to take advantage of being in its best possible state to do problem solving and creative thinking, and so tackling your most challenging or difficult task first in your work day. Now, for some people that might sound exciting and doable, and for others, they might schedule their most difficult task first and then tend to avoid or procrastinate. So if you think the latter might be you, then it's better to then schedule either a quick, short, simple task or two, and then move on to your most difficult or challenging task next. Or a second strategy might be to look at your most difficult task first and then break that down into more doable components and tackle one or two of those components first. So either scheduling a short, easy task first or breaking down components and doing component tasks is just a way to increase your competence or help you to feel a bit more confident, boost your sense of mastery, and in that way you still build some courage and you get to work towards getting those bigger, more challenging tasks out earlier in the day and maximizing your best potential of your brain when it's calmest, and to get access to that creativity and problem solving when it's the best possible time for your brain to do that. Number five is movement. And the research is very clear that regardless of when you move, like sort of what time in the day you move, the benefits for us psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and our physical body are numerous. For mental clarity, focus, memory, decision-making, energy, mood, in terms of stress management, the list just goes on and on and on. I've done lots of posts on this in the past, so you can scroll back on my social media from last year and you'll find lots of information on just the impact of movement and your psychological and mental well-being. But if we're talking about productivity, like we are at the moment, then the evidence is definitely overwhelming for moving in the morning versus after work. So there was an interesting study that was done that divided people into categories for those that worked out in the morning before work and those that did the exercise after work. And there was definitely an increased percentage of productivity noted for those people who exercised before work versus those that exercised after. And there's quite a few studies like that. But what's interesting about this particular study is they also asked the people that worked out in the morning to also take short breaks during their work day. And these people had desk jobs, so they asked them to get up from their desks and do short 3-minute little walks around at half an hour to hour intervals during the day. And those were the people that exercised in the morning and took short little 3-minute walk breaks throughout their day that noted the highest productivity increase than all of the other groups of people that exercised. So that's quite an interesting thing to note if you want to improve your productivity, especially from a movement point of view. Now, the added bonus about moving in the morning is that obviously moving increases your energy. It raises your cortisol, and so especially if you're prone to being sluggish in the morning or having an afternoon slump, then moving in the morning would definitely be great for you. Now, cortisol is not all bad. We need cortisol to function. So cortisol itself is not the enemy. It's spiking your cortisol excessively, and cortisol hanging around in your body for too long a time, and that's what causes us more harm than anything else. So generally speaking, our body's natural pattern is for cortisol to be higher in the morning, and so it makes sense if we can utilize the high cortisol to do our most intense, forms of exercise earlier in the day. But for some people, they tend to be more sluggish in the morning, and for them, maybe their cortisol patterning might be a bit off. So for those people, maybe it might be more advantageous to start off with more gentler forms of exercise and work their way up. So, if you want to preserve yourself and not spike your cortisol excessively and not cause it to hang around for too long, then, the type of exercise you do and the duration of exercise obviously will matter a lot. So a lot of the research points to doing moderate intensity exercise for around about 30 minutes. And that seems to be what's being cast as most ideal for productivity, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. However, you just need to bear in mind where your cortisol levels are at and what your energy is like after you exercise, how your mood feels, and what's that Goldilocks state for you, what feels just right for you. So what about nutrition? I think the same could be said about nutrition. There isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, and there are those people who like to practice intermittent fasting, and yes, there is research that points to the mental and psychological benefits of fasting for mental clarity, focus, improved mood, energy as well, and there is some research that also shows the increased benefits of training fasted as well. But of course, there are those individuals who are likely to suffer disadvantages from fasting if it puts too much of a strain or pressure. So it can cause your cortisol levels to spike too high, and then fasting might not be the best idea for you. So when it comes to nutrition, if you're one of those people who are choosing to have breakfast in the morning, then planning and preparing a nutritious breakfast should be part of your morning routine. What you choose to put in that breakfast obviously is going to be dependent on what is inflammatory or not inflammatory for your body, and that might involve a process of elimination. The food can have a significant impact on your thinking, on your clarity of mind, on your mood, and your overall productivity. So discovering what is inflammatory for you, what might be causing your brain to be foggy, or what could help you to become more clear and mentally productive, could boil down to some of the food you're eating or not eating. And that can sometimes require a process of elimination in order to get to that. And the last thing to consider as part of your morning routine is hydration. Many people wake up and want to grab that cup of coffee first because they feel like they need to wake up and be alert. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I don't have anything against those who want to have coffee. But remember, your body and your brain have been sleeping for 8 hours. If you've been following the advised 7 to 9 hours of ideal sleep for an adult. So in essence, it hasn't been hydrated for that period of time. So, and coffee, if you're having that first thing, is dehydrating for your body. So the other thing to remember is that your brain is made up of 73% water. So I would strongly encourage you, as part of your morning routine, to make sure, as one of the first things that you're doing when you get up, is ensuring that you have enough good quality water to get your alertness and your brain activity going. Your brain requires that water to function in the morning and throughout the day. So make sure you're having your water in the morning and throughout the day. So I hope you've enjoyed the series that we've done on establishing a morning routine for overall mental well-being and your productivity. And if you want to join me, and if you're having some difficulties, or if you have some questions about how to go about setting a morning routine with some of the information that I've been giving you over the last few weeks, I'm going to be leading a live Zoom on Wednesday evening. And there's some limited spaces. It's a free event, but I'll be taking some of your questions, and you can hop on there. There's limited space. You can send me an email if you want to hop on there and come and join and see if you can get some information that you need. So let me know if you'd like to join us for that event. It'll be this coming Wednesday evening on Zoom, and so if you want to be part of that, you'll need to give me an email so I can send you the link for that. Have a wonderful day and happy routine.